I can stack them hundreds to the roof. I ain't stopping till they stack to the moon. Without me, my family wouldn't have food. Anybody go against me gotta lose.
What is up, guys? You're listening to the MFCEO Project. I'm Andy. I'm your host, and I am the motherfucking CEO. Guys, I just got back from an awesome trip out to California. I was in LA and San Diego doing speaking events at both. I met so many of you guys, and I just want to say thank you all for coming out. It was amazing. We did Bedros's Fitness Business Summit, which was one of the best events I've ever done, mainly because it was very practical in nature. As you guys know, I'm not big on quote-unquote motivational speaking. It's my belief that if you're going to show up to speak and people paid to attend, it's your job to teach them some shit, okay? And everybody there seemed to grasp that concept. I thought that was really cool because not every event that I do is that the case. You know, I just feel like that people are going to pay money. You got to give them something. And, you know, I feel good about what I gave. I talked about something that I don't talk about anywhere else, and it went over really well. And then the next day we had an event in Hollywood. We had almost 600 people show up to that. That was awesome. If you guys showed up to that, you know how that went down. It was really, really cool. We got to hear from a lot of people from a lot of different points of view. I thought that was really neat. So I just want to say thank you guys for showing up and supporting, and you know, meeting all you guys was really cool. Hopefully we'll get to do, I have a lot more speaking engagements this year than I typically do, which I'm excited about. Guys, if this is your first time listening, and if it's not your first time, you know this, okay? This is a entrepreneurship / personal development podcast. And the goal is not to get on here and say, I'm the motherfucking CEO, and try to like pretend like I'm this fucking dude that you can't be. All right. The goal here is for me to teach you how to be a motherfucking CEO. What does that mean? That means going through your life with confidence, with swagger, with something that attracts other people and makes other people respect you, want to work with you, and like to be around you, so that you're not constantly battling an upstream battle when you're trying to become successful. Confidence and the aura that you put out, the energy that comes with your presence, goes a long way. And if you guys don't believe me, look at some of the successful people you know. Are they very meek and quiet and people aren't attracted to them? Usually not. Usually they have personalities that attract other people if it's authentic. Now, I do see a lot of people out there who are not naturally energetic or enthusiastic, and they're out there trying to be that, and it comes off as fake. If that's you, you got to continue to work on what you're trying to do and develop that part of your personality. It will come off as fake for a little bit in the beginning, and you're going to feel weird, and it's going to be awkward, and that's just the way it is. I'm not naturally a motherfucking CEO. I'm naturally a dude that likes to be by myself. I'm naturally a guy that really doesn't like people very much. And I had to develop those areas of my personality. And what people don't understand about a CEO, or more directly, a motherfucking CEO, is that the disposition is more than the position. And whenever I tell people they need to carry themselves with a confidence and that to be the motherfucking CEO of their own lives, I almost get someone saying something like this. Well, yeah, Andy, that's easy for you to say because you really are a CEO. You've got hundreds of guys working for you and your companies make millions of dollars every year. And then they follow it up with something like this. It's easy to walk around with some swag in life when you actually hold the position with some status and have some bucks in your bank account, right? And I just shake my head at dudes like this because they don't fucking get it. All right. The disposition comes before the position, and the disposition is more important than the position. Do you even know what disposition means? It means a person's inherent qualities of their mind and character. It's how you operate. It's how you think. It's what you do. You don't become a CEO when you fill out the legal work to start a business and hire some employees to run it. That's not what it is. You don't become a CEO when someone gives you an office on the top floor and hangs a gold placard on the door, and when you just go ahead and give you a 7-figure salary with fat benefits to go with that. That's not what it is. You become a CEO the moment you form the mind and character of one. You become a CEO when you think and act like one. This is the moment when you go all in on your work ethic. You take personal responsibility. You maximize your own gifts. You creatively leverage your lack of resources. You pay laser precise attention to detail. You solve problems no matter what it takes. You adapt to your circumstances. You take control of your situation. You hold the people around you to the highest possible standards, and you call them to be great. You lead by example. You care. You work. And you transform any adversity into an asset. If that's not how you operate, it doesn't matter what's printed on your fucking business card or where you get to park your car. You're not a CEO, and you certainly aren't a motherfucking CEO. You're not even worthy of the title. But if what I just mentioned is true of you, not perfectly, but persistently, then you are a CEO. Doesn't matter if you're a businessman, a plumber, a teacher, a student, a mom, a pastor, or even a fucking podcast host. Whatever it is you are, you're a CEO. And your goal is to become a motherfucking CEO. Someone who infects every single person around them with positivity and the opportunity to grow and helps them understand that they are in control. But the disposition comes before the position. And a lot of you guys don't understand that. A lot of you guys are waiting till you get the promotion or get the official business card or start your own business to become a CEO. But what you don't realize is that your life is the easiest thing to become a CEO of. And if you want to become a CEO of an actual business, if you want to make 7 figures, 8 figures, if you want to be a person that other people look to for the answers, you've got to start with yourself. And that's what we talk about when we talk about becoming a motherfucking CEO. A lot of people think that it's just some bullshit title that I made up. And you know what? It was in the beginning. That's how it came about. I had some employees call me that because I cursed all the time. And it used to be an old Kenny Powers video that we loved. But what you have to understand is that this mentality, this title, in the context that we speak about it, is something that you decide to be. Okay? If you possess the mentality of a motherfucking CEO, if you believe that you're the motherfucking CEO and you have all the inherent qualities of a motherfucking CEO in the way that you operate as a human, the chances of you living the life of a real CEO increase greatly. When I held my event the other night, we had 30-something speakers at it, okay? But there was only a few things that were talked about over and over and over again. And I would consider every single person who was at that event a motherfucking CEO. But what'd you hear? You didn't hear 20 million qualities. You didn't hear 20 million magical things that needed to happen. You heard a few things. You heard being authentic. You heard telling the truth. You heard being somebody who is direct, being someone who helps others. We talked about being someone who takes responsibility for their actions, people who focus, and people who do the fucking work. All right? This isn't fucking rocket science. This isn't something that you can't obtain. This isn't something that you're going to, go out there and somebody else is going to give you. If you listen to my podcast with Charlie a few weeks ago, he talked about making a decision to become something. And the decision to become something always happens before anybody else sees it. And far too many people, including a lot of you guys, are waiting around for someone to come along and say, hey, you know what? You'd make a good motherfucking CEO. And you know what? That's never going to fucking happen. Your teachers aren't going to see it. Your parents aren't going to see it. Your friends aren't going to see it. Your family isn't going to see it. Nobody's going to see it until you fucking see it first. Living the life of somebody who takes control, living the life of somebody who inspires people, impacts people, teaches people, who coaches people, who holds them accountable, and who is respected by their peers. That starts with a decision. Okay, we could talk about what it means to be CEO all day long, but here's the reality. There's tons of real CEOs, quote unquote, real CEOs out there that aren't fucking motherfucking CEOs. They're not even real CEOs in what I define it as. There are people out there who have a position that's printed on their business card, and that's what it is. And they collect their money, they fucking rob as much money out of the opportunity they have, and they fucking go away. We see it all the time in corporate America, guys, but we live in a time where becoming a leader, becoming someone who is respected, becoming someone who is successful, who makes impact, who helps others, who teaches others, who brings other people up and gets the respect of their entire community is possible because guess what? You all have a fucking phone and you all have internet access. You just haven't decided yet. You just haven't said, this is what I am and this is who I'm going to be and I'm going to take fucking control right now. I don't know what you're waiting for. Most likely you're waiting for permission. You're waiting for someone to come along and say that this is what you should do. Well, guess what? I'm the motherfucker that's coming along and telling you this is what you should do. Because if you don't, you are going to be just like all of your friends and all of your family. And I promise you right now, that's not what you want. Because if it was what you wanted, you wouldn't be listening to this podcast, would you? You would be going along like every other motherfucker, drinking beers on fucking Tuesday afternoon, talking about how the world screwed you over and how you got cheated. On Thursday, you'd be sitting on your cooler in the driveway talking about how your boss sucks, talking about how your job sucks, talking about how your wife or your husband sucks. And you'd be doing the same shit everybody else does. So I know that's not what you want. But the first step to not having that be your life is for you to make the decision to be someone who is in control of themselves. And a lot of you guys might be saying, well, this is a motivational podcast. No, it's not. This is not a fucking motivational podcast. This is a very practical step. I am telling you how to make a decision for change. You have to make this up in your mind. And so many of you are roadblocked because your teachers or your parents or your aunts or your uncles or the people who you call your friends, who aren't really your fucking friends, are laughing at you, are telling you to be realistic, telling you you should just give up on your dreams, telling you that you're a dreamer and that you're someone who, needs to really just get your head out of the clouds and be realistic. Dude, that's what they fucking told me. I get it. Because I've been there. I know what it's like, but here's what the funny thing is most of those motherfuckers ask me for jobs now. And I can tell you what, that feels pretty good. It really does. I smile inside. I giggle inside every time I hear that shit. Every time I know a motherfucker that didn't believe in me is saying, hey man, is there any way for you to get me on? Are you guys hiring? I love it. And you'll love it too. But you'll never get that feeling. You'll never feel that feeling if you don't make the decision first about yourself and get over the fact that all these motherfuckers that you don't even want to be like are going to laugh at you. They're going to giggle at you. They're going to smirk. They're going to say weird shit on your Instagram and your Facebook. This is reality. You are not experiencing anything that anybody that you look up to didn't have to experience. You think you have it unique, and you think your circumstances are unique, and you think the hate or the jealousy or the envy or the criticism that you have is unique, but it isn't. We've all dealt with it. We all feel it. We all have to go through it, and it's the worst in the beginning. Once people start to see you actually doing what it is that you set out to do, they're going to start doing this. Instead of talking shit, they're going to say, oh, I'm so proud of you. Oh, that's great. Oh, I'm happy for you. And you know what? They're not going to fucking mean it because they're going to secretly hope for you to fail. So really what I'm telling you is it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse because there's nothing worse than somebody telling you some inauthentic bullshit lies to your fucking face, is there? It's going to get worse. Then you're going to go through another phase where they're actually going to start believing in you because you're making progress, and all their secret hopes and wishes that they have of you to fail are going out the window because it's obvious that you're not going to fail. That's when they're going to come to you and they're going to say, oh, dude, this is great. This is awesome. And it's going to feel different. It's going to feel different than when they said that the first time. You could tell they mean it now. And you know why it changes from they don't mean it to they mean it? Because your progress, your decision to succeed, your decision to be a motherfucking CEO and become what it is that you want to become has become undeniable to them. They can't deny the momentum that you're making. They can't deny the progress that you're making. And they know that no matter how much they hate, because they hated for a long time, that they can't fucking stop you. And here's the irony. They only give you that belief after you no longer need it. A lot of you guys start in the beginning and you think, well, nobody believes in me. Well, let me tell you something. You haven't done anything to be believed in. That's the reality. What have you done to make them believe in you? Other people don't owe you their belief. That's an entitled mentality. You have to tell yourself, I haven't done anything for other people to believe in me. When they don't believe, who will fucking blame them? You haven't done anything. You've been lazy. You've been fat. You said you're going to do something a million fucking times and you never fucking did it. So whose fault is that? It's your fault. And until you start making that progress that's undeniable, and until you start doing those things that are talked about in a way like, hey, fuck, Andy's really fucking doing it. And these people stop hating and start supporting. That shit ain't going to change. And then when they do that, you're going to be like, well, fuck. I guess it's cool they believe in me, but whatever, because that shit's not going to mean anything to you anymore. You're going to start to realize that you don't need other people's approval and belief. But I can tell you right now, you're never going to get there until you make the decision. Until you make the decision to be the person that you want to be. Until you make the decision to operate as a CEO, to think like a CEO, and to do what CEOs do. You're always going to be the same as everybody else. The time is now, guys. This isn't motivation. This isn't fucking rah-rah. This is telling you that you have to make a conscious decision. And I've given you literally every fucking tool that I could possibly give you to practically create. And when I say practically, I mean literally practically as a tool to create the world that you want to create. We've talked about everything from sales to law of attraction to fucking how to hire to how to fire to this and that and how to do this and how to start a business. It's all here. The problem is you haven't decided. So if you think this is motivation, you need to think again. You're not making the decision to change, and until you do, you're going to be just like everyone else.